The room doesn't react at first. Music continues to pulse softly through hidden speakers. Glasses clink. A dealer laughs somewhere near the back of the hall. The carpet underfoot is thick, patterned, designed to swallow sound. Everything about the place is meant to feel insulated from consequence. Mike Tyson stands near the edge of the crowd, not at the center of it. Las Vegas, late evening. A private event attached to a major fight weekend in the early 2000s. Invitation only, fighters, trainers, promoters, casino men who make their living reading other men. The lighting is warm but low, casting faces in partial shadow, leaving nothing fully exposed. Tyson isn't dressed to impress. No tailored suit, no statement jewelry, a dark jacket plain shirt underneath. His hands hang loose at his sides, shoulders relaxed. He isn't scanning the room. He isn't watching anyone, but people are watching him. They always do, even when they pretend not to. A few feet away, a younger fighter is holding court, late 20s, big frame, broad shoulders, the kind of man whose confidence has never been tested outside controlled environments. He's surrounded by a loose half circle of listeners, trainers, hangers-on, a couple of men from a regional promotion. Laughter comes easily to him, too easily. Someone mentions Tyson's name. Not loudly, not dramatically, just enough to be heard. The fighter smiles. It's not cruel. It's casual, comfortable, the smile of someone who believes. The room agrees with him. I mean, he says, lifting his glass slightly. That was a long time ago. A few chuckles. Nothing sharp, nothing overt. Tyson doesn't turn. The fighter continues, encouraged by the lack of reaction. Different era, he adds. Different rules. Today's fighters are built different. This time, the laughter spreads a little wider. Still polite. Still deniable. Tyson shifts his weight, almost one foot adjusts against the carpet. A small movement, but it changes his posture. He's listening now. The room senses it before it understands it. Conversations thin, voices lower. A subtle recalibration ripples outward, like a change in air pressure. The fighter knows. He glances toward Tyson, finally acknowledging his presence. For a brief second, there's hesitation, not fear, but awareness. Then it passes. He squares his shoulders slightly, as if reminding himself where he is. This isn't disrespect, he says. Louder now, performing reassurance as much as offering it. It's just facts. Facts. The word lands wrong. Tyson turns, not quickly, not aggressively. He rotates at the waist, slow and controlled, until he's facing the group. His expression is neutral, eyes steady. There's no anger there, no challenge, just attention. The fighter straightens instinctively. The half circle tightens without realizing it. Phones stay in pockets. No one wants proof of what's about to happen, only memory. Tyson takes a step forward. The distance between them shortens not enough to be confrontational, enough to make a conversation unavoidable. Up close, the contrast becomes obvious. The younger fighter is taller. He has reached youth, muscle built for cameras and weigh-ins. Tyson is compact, dense. His presence doesn't expand outward, it pulls inward. Tyson speaks quietly. You fight? He asks. The question isn't a test, it's procedural. The fighter nods. Yeah. Another small nod from Tyson, acknowledging the answer. Where you train? Tyson asks. A location is given, a well-known gym. Respectable. The fighter relaxes a fraction, sensing normalcy returning. This feels like conversation now. Safe territory. Tyson listens. He doesn't comment. He doesn't correct. He lets silence stretch just long enough to become uncomfortable. Around them, people pretend to look elsewhere. No one interrupts. No one steps between. The fighter clears his throat. Look, he says, lowering his voice slightly. No disrespect meant. Tyson meets his eyes. For the first time, then don't add it, he says. The words are simple. Flat, delivered without emphasis. The fighter blinks. He laughs once, reflexively, as if to smooth the moment. It doesn't land. The laugh fades too fast. Someone shifts their stance. A chair scrapes softly against the floor. Tyson takes another step. Now they're close enough that personal space becomes irrelevant. Close enough to feel breath, to smell cologne and old sweat beneath it. Close enough that posture matters. Tyson's shoulders stay low. His hands remain open. His chin is tucked slightly. A habit ingrained decades earlier, never unlearned. The fighter adjusts his footing, unconsciously mirroring a stance he's practiced thousands of times. He tells himself, this is nothing. Just words. Just an encounter. But his body doesn't listen. People talk, Tyson says. They forget what they're talking about. The fighter swallows. He nods again too quickly this time. Sure, he says. I get that. Another pause. The music seems louder now, only because everything else has gone quiet. Tyson tilts his head just a few degrees. You ever been hit? He asks. When you weren't ready? The question lands heavy. It's not rhetorical, it's experiential. The fighter opens his mouth, then closes it. He exhales through his nose. Everyone has, he says finally. Tyson studies him, not judging, measuring. No, Tyson replies. Not like that, a murmur moves through the crowd. Subtle, involuntary. The fighter's smile is gone now. His jaw tightens. Pride pushes forward. Fighting instinct. I'm not saying you weren't great, he says, a defensive edge creeping in. I'm saying the game moves on. Tyson nods once. So do consequences, he says. The words hang between them. Not a threat, a reminder. Security at the far end of the room straightens, suddenly attentive. A promoter shifts closer, ready to intervene if needed, though unsure what that would even look like. Tyson steps slightly to the side, angling, his body not squaring up, not retreating, just changing alignment. To the untrained eye, it means nothing. To the trained eye, it means everything. The fighter knows. His breath shortens. He tries to hide it. Tyson's voice drops even lower. You don't owe me respect, he says, but you owe yourself awareness. The fighter's hands clench, then loosen. His weight shifts back, heel touching carpet. Time compresses. Second stretch. This is the point where choices matter, where rooms remember. What happened next? Tyson doesn't raise his hands. He doesn't need to. The space between them feels charged now, not with anger, but inevitability. The crowd senses it, leaning back collectively, creating a pocket of emptiness around the two men. 9 seconds. That's all it will take, but no one in the room knows that yet. The fighter tries to regain control of the moment by speaking first. He lifts his chin slightly, a gesture meant to project calm. The words come out measured, but there, too. Deliberate, as if he's choosing them with a careful hand. Look, Mike, he says, using the name like an equalizer. This is a party. We're not doing anything stupid here. Tyson doesn't react to the name, doesn't react to the framing. He watches the man's breathing. The slight rise in the chest, the way the shoulders tighten on the inhale, the way the eyes blink a fraction too often when adrenaline starts to build. Tyson's voice stays even. Then stop inviting it, he says. There's no escalation in volume, only in clarity. The fighter glances around, as if checking whether the room is still with him. He sees faces that are suddenly careful, neutral, no longer laughing. The people who were a moment ago nodding along now look like they're witnessing something that shouldn't be filmed. He senses the shift and resents it. A corner of his mouth lifts again, a thin imitation of confidence. You're serious, he says, half laughing, trying to make Tyson look unreasonable. Come on. I'm just talking. Tyson takes one more step. Not forward this time, but into alignment. His feet settle under him with a quiet finality. The carpet hides the sound, but his balance changes. His center lowers. The angle of his torso becomes economical, compact. A trainer in the background, someone old enough to have seen Tyson in his first camps, stops mid. His lips part slightly as if he's about to speak. Then he decides not to. He knows what he's looking at. The fighter's eyes flick down for a moment, reading Tyson's posture. He tries to interpret it, tries to decide whether it's intimidation or just stance. He doesn't have time. Tyson's hands remain open, at chest level, relaxed. Not a guard. A posture that could belong to a man explaining something. And then the fighter makes a mistake that seems small but isn't. He shifts forward. Not a strike, not a shove. Just a subtle lean, a casual infringement of space, as if to say, I'm not backing up from you. In that fraction of movement, his weight comes onto his front foot, his shoulders come forward, his hips follow, he becomes available. Tyson moves. It isn't a swing the way people imagine. There's no wide arc, no wind up, no spectacle. His left foot slides a few inches, quiet. His right shoulder dips just enough to change the line of sight, and his left hand snaps forward. Short, straight, technical. A jab, but not a probing jab, not a rangefinder. A jab thrown like a nail. The glove lands on the fighter's mouth, clean and flat, compressing the lips into the teeth. The impact is dull, controlled, not loud, not cinematic. It's worse than that. It's precise. The fighter's head doesn't whip back dramatically. It simply resets, as if someone has reached in and turned the power off for a split second. His eyes lose focus. His knees unlock. Tyson is already gone from that line. He shifts again, stepping to the outside, rotating his torso just enough to hide the next punch until it arrives. A righty hand. Compact. It lands high on the cheekbone, just under the eye. The kind of placement that doesn't need full force to do its job. The fighter's body stiffens. His shoulders rise reflexively. Too late. He tries to step back, but the carpet and his own feet betray him. His balance is wrong. His weight is still forward. His body is trying to retreat while his stance is trying to advance. Tyson doesn't chase. He closes space by owning it. The third punch comes as a hook, short, tight, almost invisible. Until it connects, it hits the side of the head, behind the ear, the kind of shot that turns the world into a narrow hallway. The fighter's legs don't fold immediately. They hesitate first, then they stop cooperating. He drops, not unconscious, not asleep, just down, suddenly, and without negotiation. One knee hitting the carpet, one hand reaching for something that isn't there. Silence swallows the room. The music keeps playing, detached from reality. The dealer at the far end stops laughing. Me di bre. A woman near the bar covers her mouth with her hand but makes no sound. A promoter takes one step forward, then freezes, unsure whether moving closer will make it worse. Tyson doesn't look at the crowd. He looks at the fighter. The young man blinks slowly, eyes glassy, trying to reassemble the last few seconds. His mouth opens as if to speak, but the jaw doesn't want to cooperate. He swallows and winces. Tyson crouches just slightly, not to help, not to mock, just to make sure his words land close enough to be undeniable. You see it now? He says. The fighter nods once, small and involuntary. Tyson stands back up, as if the moment is already over. He doesn't posture, doesn't raise his arms, doesn't look for praise. He turns his head toward the nearest trainer, a man who has been watching without blinking, and gives a subtle nod, the kind you give after finishing a routine task. Then he steps away. The crowd parts without being asked. People create space instinctively, their bodies moving on old animal logic. The hierarchy in the room rearranges itself immediately, without debate. Two security men finally move, but cautiously, eyes on Tyson, not the fighter. They're not sure what their role is anymore. One of them kneels beside the young man, speaking softly, asking if he can stand. The fighter lifts a hand as if to say he's fine, but his fingers tremble. His pride wants to rise first, but his nervous system is still busy processing what happened. 9 seconds. It feels longer in retrospect, because the room watched each moment distinctly. The shift, the lean, the first impact, the collapse. A few people at the edge of the crowd exchanged looks that say the same thing without words. So it was all real. Tyson reaches the bar, but doesn't order anything. He rests one hand lightly on the counter, eyes forward, breathing low, controlled, unchanged. If anything, he looks calmer now than before. A man beside him, older, well-dressed, someone who has seen champions come and go, clears his throat. You didn't have to do that, he says quietly, not accusing. Just stating, Tyson doesn't turn. He didn't have to start it, Tyson replies. The older man nods. There's no argument to make. Across the room, the young fighter is helped to his feet. He stands unsteadily, blinking, jaw clenched, trying to hold on to dignity that is slipping through his hands. People don't laugh. That would be dangerous. They don't comfort him either. They simply observe him with a new kind of distance. He tries to speak, maybe to explain, maybe to downplay, but the words don't form. He stops, realizing anything he says will only make the memory sharper. Tyson takes a slow breath and finally looks back once, not at the fighter's face, at his posture, at the way he now stands smaller, careful, contained. The lesson isn't spoken aloud. It doesn't need to be. In places like this, status is often treated like performance, a thing you can shape with confidence, with volume, with jokes that signal who belongs and who doesn't. But there are moments when performance meets reality. And reality doesn't negotiate. Tyson turns away again and walks toward the exit at the same pace he arrived. No rush, no triumph. New, lingering. The room stays quiet behind him for a few seconds after he's gone, as if everyone needs time to remember how to talk normally again. The young fighter remains standing, but something in him has changed. Not his body. His understanding. Because in 9 seconds, he didn't just get hit. He learned what it feels like when a room stops believing your story and starts believing someone else's presence.